CNN did a puff piece on the NFAC days after the Fallen State interview with the black radical nationalist militia group posers. More scaremongering about COVID and the elections as well. This is the end of Hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It's Monday, October 26th, 2020. Stay tuned for Hour 2. Jesse Lee Peterson will be right back. It's 6:55 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Did you know the NFAC is getting coverage on the Fallen State and CNN? CNN covered the NFAC a couple of days after the Fallen State released Jesse Lee Peterson's interview with that male. It's available on YouTube, BitChute, Library, Odyssey, ODYSEE, new nice platform associated with the library, LBRY. Also available on audio podcast with the passionate black poser dude who leads that black nationalist militia group, John Fitzgerald Johnson, the founder of the Not Effing Around Coalition, stated, quote, this is from CNN, "Nobody says anything when other demographics pick up weapons, decide to arm themselves," except for ISIS, right? "And confront the government over anything from wearing a mask to being cooped up in the house. But when certain demographics arm themselves, all of a sudden people tend to act as if the Constitution doesn't matter." I don't know what he's talking about. The NFAC is a group of black males and women whose goal, they say, is to protect, self-police, and educate black communities on firearms and their constitutional rights. CNN did a puff piece on them because they're black and angry, and they're not the Proud Boys. What they're saying about COVID right now. The CNN reports that the U.S. just hit its highest 7-day case average on new cases of this since the so-called pandemic began with this Chinese communist virus. It's to be expected since it's been given plenty of time to spread. They're claiming without evidence that more than 225,000 Americans have died from the virus. We think it might be more accurate to say they've died having had the virus at some point, whether or not the virus had anything to do with it, whether or not they even experienced symptoms. The White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows outright said yesterday, "We're not going to control the pandemic. Duh, we're not God." Instead, he said the administration would focus on vaccines and treatments. The rest of us should open up. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the liberal Hillary Clinton fanboy, said that we may not get findings on the safety of potential vaccines until December. One vaccine volunteer already died in South America, a couple of weeks ago, or the other week. Yikes, huh? Imagine that. Widespread availability probably won't come until next year. Most of us don't need it and shouldn't bother with this vaccine thing. Reportedly, at least 5 of Vice President Mike Pence's aides have tested positive for the Chinese/commie virus, including his chief of staff, Mark Short. However, Pence is not quarantining. He is continuing his work. Right on. Here's some madness. Delta Airlines, the airplane company, has banned 460 people so far for not following their dumb in-flight mask policy. Ridiculous, huh? And some voting mess, other madness. CNN says that there are 8 days left until the U.S. presidential so-called election, and already more people have voted this year than during all pre-election voting in 2016. 58.7 million ballots allegedly cast so far. Suckers, huh? As President Trump warned, and I've repeated, CNN's finally admitting that with so many quote-unquote mail-in ballots, by the way, multiple locations across the country have seen ballot drop boxes set afire by vandals. One guy looked like he was black over in Boston. Happened over here too, Baldwin Park. Some state, it may take days to call the race rather than knowing before midnight on election day, because some states don't even count their mail-in ballots until after the election. Democrat candidate Joe Biden said during a 60 Minutes interview that despite his own polling lead in several key states, he claims, he thinks President Trump could win because delegitimizing the race's outcome is how he plays. Sounds like the libs are the ones undermining the integrity of the election in every way they can. And Amy Barrett vote today by Senate Republicans. They're thinking that they're going to have her in the Supreme Court. I'm James Hake. Now on to Jesse, Hour 2.